So Waking Cloud, right?
Katubiu.
Tell me more about this father in the cave you talk about so much.
Have you not heard of the god of the new Canaanites? He is our protector and our judge. He helped our ancestors find their place here in Zion. He gave us many gifts, but we are not to seek him out. His caves are forbidden to us. Those who seek them out are taken from us.
That doesn't sound like what I've heard about the new Canaanites.
Perhaps you do not fully understand the new Canaanites. I have seen the Father's images. His holy bride and holy son were given unto the world to save it. They dwelt in the caverns of the mountains, caverns which can still be seen today. The people sinned against him, and were punished with the end that came in fire and the loss of the holy tongue. Only the new Canaanites were spared.
I see. That's fascinating.
I'm sure Daniel could tell you more. His knowledge of the Father is greater than my own.
Okay, maybe we should go talk to Daniel about this.
Then I will look forward to our next speaking.
Hey Daniel.
I'm glad to see you're still with us. How can I help you?
I heard that you might know something about the father in the caves?
Father in the... Oh, right. He's some spirit the Sorrows used to believe in. Watched over them from the caves in the valley. They marked some of the caves around here because they think they'll be punished for going inside. I think as more of them learn the teachings of the new Canaanites, they'll lose their old superstitions.
You might want to have a chat with them. They think your Lord and the Father are the same.
Oh? Oh. Of course. How stupid of me. They probably also think Mary is the mother and Jesus is the child. No wonder they picked up on things so easily. I guess it just goes to show how difficult it is to communicate sometimes.
Okay, interesting. I am more curious about this father in the caves figure, and what exactly led the Sorrows to believe he is basically God.
Father,
So,
I ask that you guide this woman who is the vessel of your will. Show her the light of your wisdom and the peace of your love. Amen.
so today's episode of the Shaman's Horde, hello and welcome to Nyxus Gaming, is gonna be about the father in the caves and the survivalist caches that he has left littered throughout Zion Valley here. The first of which is gonna be found at Angel Cave. Now, along with most of these caches, you're gonna find a terminal where you can learn more about the story about the father in the cave. This first one, though, is the only one that doesn't have a terminal with it. You're going to want to come all the way through the cave past where you talk to Joshua Graham for the first time, out this end, and it's going to be right up against the cliff wall here, marked by a little hand on the wall. Now, these have all sorts of goodies here, different chances to have different things in them. I am not too interested in what goes into them. I am more or less just interested in the story and the challenge that you can complete for finding all 6 of them. As popped up in the corner there, we now have 1 of 6. So let's get on with it and find the second one. The second cache is gonna be just across the little valley from Angel Cave here, still in the Dead Horses camp area. We'll walk in, and you're gonna want to find your way towards the cache. Keep in mind when you're going through these caves, the father in the cave was a very crafty man, and he has set up many traps to keep you from making it to his hideout.
Show her the peace of your love. Amen. I'm gonna die. At least that isn't safe.
Once you have made your way through all of the traps and made your way to his little camp area here, you will find the Survivalist Cache somewhere around here. Here it is, right next to his bedspread. Like I said, plenty of goodies you can find here. The stealth boy is nice. The grenades are nice. That's going to be 2 of 6. And you can check his terminal to start learning his story. October 28th, 2077. 5 days on foot. Still can't sleep. Outside, it's like nothing happened. Sky looks wrong, that's all. Hike back to overturned Nat Guard truck near Tokerville? After blisters heal, maybe. Looks like USGS team was researching something here in cave. Cleared out when bombs fell. Left equipment behind. Probably thought they had families to run back to. October 29th. Char must have said this out loud 1,000 times. Walking here, maybe writing it will feel more like you heard. You were right. I was north of Spanish Fork. Took the 77 along Provo Bay to steer clear of town. Would have been home in an hour. Engine died. Truck just stopped. So did a Chrysalis in other lane. Knew right away. First nuke hit SLC inside a minute. I was looking south. Lucky man. Flash behind me, so bright world looked on fire. Old couple from the Chrysalis starts screaming they can't see. Didn't watch you die, Char. Saved my eyes. Counted 12 more flashes next 7 minutes. Ground shook each time. 18 seconds later. When nothing hit for half hour, took a look. Globe of fire where you and Alex died. Didn't kid myself. Didn't know what to do. Grabbed my pack and rifle. Saw to the old couple, sat them up against car. Let them hold and comfort each other. Told them I was gonna get help. Everything will be okay. 1 bullet through both heads. Instant. 5-day hike back to Zion. You told me, stop running off to the wild. Man belongs with his family. You were right. You were right. You were right. You were right. Wasn't there to hold you and my boy. Died without me. Never touch you or him again. Should shoot myself. What I deserve. Can't. Maybe soon. October 31st. Black rain falling outside. Geiger jumping. Should let it kill me, but bottling water from back of cave all the same. November 2nd. Sounds dead outside, but can't look. Geiger goes lethal 15 feet from cave mouth. Do the math. Radiation goes down before water runs out, or I never leave this cave. January 1st, 2078. Happy New Year. 2 months in cave. Still lethal outside. Don't let it. In Army they said 2 to 4 weeks cleared fallout. Less than a month's water left. Been mopping condensation off cave walls. Wringing shirt into bottles. Trading calories for H2O. Food stocks holding. Thanks, USGS. If there was even a chance I'd see the 2 of you again, I'd run outside. January 10th. Sounded like windstorm out there for 2 days. Radiation down 500. What happened? January 15th. Took a peek. Snow. It glows green. January 28th. Radiation low enough I could risk short exposure outside. More important, cave stream now drinkable if I use rad drugs. January 30th. There is nothing alive out there. The next location is Two Skies Cave, next to the old Rockville Bridge and just north of the spine, down by the water.
This is the only short path from the Narrows to... I know you are eager to leave Zion, but perhaps you might find peace this way. Think about it, yes?
And once again, whenever you arrive at the camp, you're going to want to look around for the Survivalist Cache. Looks like this one, there's the terminal right there. This one is a little bit more hidden. Either that, or I am just completely blind. Let's check back out here. I appear to be just completely blind to this one. There it is, on the shelf right here. Go ahead and grab yourself even more goodies. And Survivalist Bounty, 3 of 6. May 5th, year 2083. The comeback goes on. Add prickly pear to list of survivors with honey mesquite. And banana yucca. Odd nodules / mutations, but safe to eat. Harvesting oh so careful. Never take more than a fifth. Mouth waters every time I'm about to eat something that isn't from a can. May 7th. Clouds of those stinging flies near fallen tree I call the napper. Little flashes in the clouds, something dragonfly size that zaps them midair then scoops them up. Something new. May 19th. Bighorn sheep, a family, ram, ewe, and little one. Fucking goddamn it. May 20th. The sheep were different, brawny. Ewe had curved horns just like the ram. Seen some tiny lizards, but this is first time seeing animals that big. Fingers crossed. 5 to 10 years breeding. Fresh meat, hides, horns. I know it's time to go back, Shar, when winter has passed. June 14th, year 2084. Just got back, tired, good scrounging along the way, ended up dragging back a cart of stuff. Right tomorrow, sleep. June 15th. Departed April 10th. Walked to SLC, took 15 days. Would have been 7 to 9 back in the old days, but had to circle pockets of radiation and foraged a long way. Don't know what I was thinking. Imagined I'd find my house, dig through rubble, find something. Your bones, I hoped. And little nuts. Would have buried them. Here in Zion, maybe. SLC is mostly craters, warped steel girders where high-rises sat, mounds of bricks. Never found our house, didn't even find street. What wasn't a crater was scorched clean. Want to believe it was fast, a flash, both of you vaporized. Lies to make me feel better. I'll never know. Which part of city got hit first? Northeast and you both died in a blink. Farther away and you burned alive screaming, or the blast broken glass and bits of brick and wood splinters shredding you like hamburger. Look at it, coward, and listen. Don't turn away, face it. If you'd been a brave, lucky man, you would have found a spot and blown your brains out. But not you. You took your time, walking back, made a shopping trip of it, scrounger. The truck was still there on the 77 north of Spanish Fork, the Chrysalis too, but no sign of the old couple's bones. Outside Nephi, I caught a trail. 3 men, tracks heading toward Fountain Green. Thought about following, but didn't. Stupid fantasy of friends. More likely, cannibals. June 20th. Took 2 days to build door and electrify it. No soliciting, assholes. Home sweet fucking home. September 20th, year 2095. I count 28 of them. 11 adult males, 8 females, 9 children aged 2 to 10. Some rifles and pistols in bad repair. Old world clothes. Ratty. September 22nd. Got close enough last night to hear them talk. Spanish, I think? From Mexico? Heard them say paradiso a bunch. Think that means paradise. Here to stay then. Seem harmless. Seem. October 5th. The one I call Maria is pregnant. Think the father is Jose, but she spends a lot of time with Pablo too. October 7th. Pedro ran out to pee in the stream and would have seen me if he looked to his left. Too close. Need to give them space. November 10th. Jose broke his leg chasing a bighorn, too far from camp for them to hear. Told myself to leave it be, but couldn't. 300 yards from their camp, did my best. Jose screaming imitation, until a bunch of them came looking. Then strung them along to the crest where they could hear the real Jose. Probably useless. Compound fracture. Broke the skin. November 11th. Infection. So many goddamn words nearly the same. Think I'd be fluent. But anyway, Jose's leg has got it, so he's going to die. Nature for you. Of course they're giving prayer a try. November 12th. Left bottle of antibiotics on a rock outside their camp last night. They thanked God, Dios, of course, as though that asshole saw fit to burn the world but still cared enough to leave some medicine on a rock. November 15th. Jose will always limp, but otherwise he'll be okay. Good deed for the month. Will they make it through the winter? Our next location brings us up to the Stone Bones Cave here in the Sorrows Camp area. Where we immediately find quite a few dead skeletons at the entrance. Luckily, the camp isn't too far into the cave, but there are quite a few nasty traps along the way. Your Survivalist Cache is going to be up on the wooden bit here, right next to the terminal. February 11th, year 2096. Fuckers killed all the men. I think they would have taken the women alive, but Maria and Selena opened fire, and some of the others went for their guns, so they shot them down and some of the kids with them. If I could have warned them. February 12th. Elena and Carmen and 5 children still alive, being kept in a pen. There are more than 100 of these assholes in blue suits. Every suit says 22 on the back. Why? Armed to the teeth with submachine guns, pistols, estimate 60% male. Everyone seems to follow the dark-haired guy, but can't get close enough to tell. Assholes are disciplined, patrols, sentries, they mean business. Say I go in at night and get the women and children out. Where to next? But I have to get them out. Have to. February 13th. Recon during night. Well organized. Sentries along most approaches, but stream not covered. Are they sick? Lots of coughing fits. Tuberculosis? Women and children still in pen. Will try to infiltrate by stream tomorrow night. February 14th. They ate them. February 19th. Ambush along Riverside Trail. 6 males killed. Heard their coughing a mile away. Used their grenades to booby-trap bodies. Kept half. Secured 6 SMGs. 500 rounds 10mm. 6 frags. February 20th. Ambush along Riverside Trail. 2 males died. Checking bodies. Killed 2 more with rifle. Shot 1 through calf and let asshole crawl off to spread message. Coughed like I'd shot him through lungs. February 23rd. Ambush half-mile east of Coal Pits Wash. 8 males killed. February 28th. Ambush in the Narrows. 6 males killed. Took a 10mm through thigh, steel jacket, missed femoral. Lucky. Used tourniquet to make sure no blood splattered on rocks back to cave. Have set traps all along entrance passage, but if they find me, it will be matter of time. Still, 24 confirmed kills in 10 days. At least a third of their combat force. Not bad for an old man. March 2nd. Lucky, 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 lucky. Patrol was small. 3 men. Screaming woke me. Point man caught under deadfall. Panic fire ricocheted into the cave. Almost hit me. Crawled forward and killed them all with SMGs. Nearly used frags. Stupid. Finger in pen when remembered ricochets. Leaving at once. No other patrols in the area, but they'll be searching Narrows for these 3. Taking as much food as I can drag with me and heading to Cave South. Our next location is here just north of the North Fork Bridge and next to the General Store and Zion Ranger Station. We are here at the Cueva Guarache.
Father, I ask that you guide this woman who is the vessel of your will. Show her.
This is the first of the caves we explore that has enemies in it. It is filled with spore carriers and spore plants. Now, you may remember the only other place we've encountered these enemies is in the base game in Vault 22.
It's good to travel with another. I spend so
And if you
long
remember
scouting
the
on my
last
own,
log,
I
he was
forget what
talking
human
about a
company
bunch
is
of
like.
people wearing blue suits with a big 22 on them. It looks like the father in the caves ran into some survivors of Vault 22. Your survivalist cache is going to be up here next to his bed again, right next to the terminal. January 13th, year 2097. The coffers are gone finally. All 34 that still lived. Ate their dead for strength, then struck out southeast. Victory. 10 months of killing. All I feel is cold. They deserved every goddamn bit of it. January 17th. Thought I was dreaming, but the screams were real. For a moment, I thought they'd tricked me. Just pretended to leave Zion, then sent a patrol to track me down. But the screams were a woman's. Edged around corner and passageway to have a look. One vaulter, ankle deep in bear trap. Leveled my SMG, but the way she was crying stopped me. How she screamed when she saw me. Been their boogeyman a long time. Named Sylvie. Claims she ran away from them. Calls them evil people. Children of the devil. Turns out they were sick after all. Something they caught in a vault they lived in. She never came down with it. Yet. So help me, I've wound up being her nurse. January 18th. Her story matches what I learned from my interrogations last year. But according to her, let's just say it was bad to be a woman in that group. So when they left, she slipped away. She knows next to nothing about living outside a vault. Says she wants to learn. September 9th, year 2100. Never been so scared in my life. Canada wasn't scary, just sickening. The criminality of it. The end of the world wasn't scary. When I knew you and Alex were dead, I didn't have anything left to be scared about. I just went on for some reason. I wasn't scared fighting the Vaulters. It was like I kept daring them to finish me. When I killed them, I think it was the closest I came to feeling happy in years. Sylvie is pregnant, and I am terrified. Ridiculous, old man. A father again at 47. In this world? She's so excited and so trusting. Says it's God's will that we have this child. Like nothing can go wrong. You see, Char, she doesn't know about you and Alex. Never told her. Almost did sometimes, but you and I had? It seemed wrong to share it. More like an old man not wanting his young wife to know how he failed the one who came before her. Hiking into Tokerville for medical books and supplies. This will be done right. I'm sorry, Char. Hope you can forgive me. March 5th, year 2101. Baby was breech. Would have been a son. Michael. Did my best to turn him. Failed. Must have done cesarean too late. Had to put Sylvie out and she never woke up. Buried them south of the Narrows. Well, this time I was by their side. So much better. I think I can finally do it. Blow my fucking brains out all over this goddamn cave. Our final location for a survivalist cache is found here at the Morning Glory Cave just south of the general store. Now you're actually sent here during the main storyline in order to grab a map of the Grand Staircase. So let's head on in.
We should not be here. This place, it belongs to the Father in the caves. We must not profane it with our touch.
What are you talking about?
The Father in the caves. The Holy Father who gave the Sorrows his succor and gave the new Canaanites his son. Many of the caves around the valley are sacred to him, and those who would trespass are punished by holy wrath.
Father in the caves, he was just a man who lived a long time ago.
You speak as one who has not heard the tales, who has not seen the sacred images. If you knew, you would not mock.
And once you arrive at the campsite, you're going to find the final survival cache right here by the doorstep. Gets you a 90 XP to complete the challenge, and of course, a bunch of goodies to go. August 22nd, year 2108. 10 sets of tracks, half-mile northeast of Cannon Entrance. Barefoot? August 23rd. Saw them through scope. Corpses walking around. Finally gone crazy. Dementia, maybe. August 24th. I'm not crazy. They're real. God damn it, they are real. Rushed me the moment they saw me, snarling like animals. They look like corpses, but don't smell rotted. I'll be putting them out of their misery. Doing for them what I never could for myself. September 3rd. The last of them. All gone. February 5th. Year 2113. Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, you useless old dinosaur. Happy birthday to me. Happy 60th. What do you get a man who has everything? A bottle of whiskey and a 12-gauge slug through the roof of the mouth. Woo! Come now. What do I have to do to prove to myself that I've lived long enough? I'm a shriveled old man. White beard, seen enough sunrises and sunsets. Saw the big sunset, been hanging on through the long night, 36 years now. Ridiculous. Not kidding myself into thinking there's anything on the other side of this. Fine. Things weren't so bad before I was born. Shar and Alex, Sylvie, and Michael, who could have been. Thoughts of the beloved dead before dying. Goodbye, Zion. February 6th. Fucking didn't do it. Coward as usual. Maybe 2 bottles next year. April 25th, year 2123. 24 of them. Half boys, half girls. Youngest is 8 maybe. Oldest 13 to 14. Dirty and scrawny. Been on foot a long time. Children's crusade. Struck camp on nearly the same spot as Los Mexicanos. 30 years and a lifetime ago. I've spent 2 nights listening to them. English, literate. One of them reads stories while the little ones fall asleep. They escape someplace they call the school, but can't figure out where it was. When they want a little one to behave, they tell him to stop, or the principal will get you. Principal better not show up or I'll blow his goddamn head off. I can still shoot straight. So that is the story of the Father in the Caves, a man by the name of Randall Clark, and the location of all 6 of his survivalist caches. A story of a man who lost his family to the bombs of the Great War, who pushed on and survived despite losing it all, did his best to save strangers whenever he met them, fought literal wars with dwellers of Vault 22, took on a pack of ghouls, and no matter what happened, he still couldn't end it all. But what exactly did happen to him? Well, there is one final cache you can find. Not part of the challenge. If you make your way to the red gate here, near Ranger Substation Eagle and Bighorn Bluff, you will find skeletal remains of a man and the survivalist duffel bag. Inside it, you will find more useful items. You will also find one of the best weapons in the game, if you ask me, the survivalist rifle here. And you'll find a final note. Year 2124. January 2nd. I've been leaving notes for them, and gifts. They like the books. Started with stories, but moved on to weapons manuals, medical books, practical stuff. In the notes, well, it's embarrassing. Almost like those cards people used to give to each other. Everything sweet and loving. I tell them to read and to learn and to make the most of their new home. I tell them that I'm giving them Zion as a gift to make up for all the sorrows of their lives so far, and all the sorrows man has visited on man. I tell them to be kind to each other and modest. I tell them never to hurt each other, but that if someone else comes along and tries to hurt them, to strike back with righteous anger. Stuff like that. I sign every note, the Father, because, well, just because. January 18th. Have I mentioned that I'm dying? Mind's still sharp. Lungs are the problem. Might be cancer. Cough's been getting worse for months. Finally, there's blood in it. Getting harder to visit my little friends. Breath's so short. I've given away most of what I own. They'll find the rest in the caves when they get a little older. I don't want them to find me, though. The Father is a broken down old man. Disappointment. It's time. I don't want another birthday. January 23rd. It's cold enough that I won't last long on the high mound up next to Red Gate. I think I've got enough breath left in me to make it. I'll just lie down and stare at the sky. Feels right. I hope they'll do well. I hope no harm comes to them, from within or without. Did my best to prepare them with the last few notes. Said something kind about each one of them, what makes each one special. Told them the Father was pleased by their kind natures, and that it would be up to them to handle things on their own from now on. That I'd be silent, but still watching, and still caring. Lying, then. Oh yes. And lied to you, Shar, and Alex, and Sylvie. Told you I'd be with you forever, but I wouldn't go back and unsay it once if I could. What was the point of it all? So many failures. But I never forgot your face, or Little Nuts, or, sorry, Sylvie's. They used to say that happened after a while, but it never did for me. Maybe the only point of all this living was to keep those pictures in my head going for as long as I could. It was the only life I could give you. Not a day went by without. It wasn't choice. I chose to die again and again. Just never did. Body had its own drive. Well, the little ones will need it. Species will need it if it's to continue. That blind drive onward. I wish them well. It's been a gift to me, at the end of it all, to behold innocence. Goodbye, Zion. Randall Dean Clark, February 5th, 2053 to January 21, 24. Thank you all for watching this episode of the Shaman's Horde on Nyxus Gaming. This is probably one of my favorite stories in pretty much all of the Fallout games, if I'm being honest. I know I did it in my playthrough of the game, pretty much a whole episode dedicated to reading that.
When Salt Upon Wounds took New Canaan, he ordered the White Legs to salt the earth so nothing could grow again. What kind of monster could do that?
Yeah, what kind of monster, right? Yeah, I wanted to do it again because it is a really good story, and I figured I could fit it all into one guide video with the caches, showing where they are and just explaining everything with that and where to get the Survivalist rifle. This is also going to be the final episode of the Honest Hearts part of the Shaman's Horde. Next time, we're going to move on to the next DLC and jump into Dead Money. So stay tuned for that, and once again, thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.